because in my experience, you have to have luck on your side or you're never going to win a tournament.
Yeah, but not only that. What about the fact that, like, don't you want your opponents to play bad? And, like, isn't that, like, the whole thing, right? I mean, so that's the one that really gets me when people are like, you know, you play so bad and this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, isn't that what you want? Like, or did you want everyone to play real well? Like, you want a bunch of Phil Ivies at your table, apparently.
Davide Katai is the short man at the table, and he's moved all in. 487,000 in chips across the line.
I got to make a little shout out here. I have a family friend, or actually one of my real close friends who's almost like my family member, has a friend named Mike, and he's a cousin of Davide Katai, and I went to lunch or dinner with them last summer during the World Series. And so I'm crossing my fingers for Davide. I hope he doubles up, and this guy's a real good poker player.
Well, of course, he won that World Series bracelet this summer, taking it down in the $2,000 pot limit Hold'em event. And of course, in Barcelona last year, he finished 11th, nearly made the final table. Incredible back-to-back results for him in this leg of the EPT. And that hand, he will take the blinds and antes. Of course, now we're back from the break. The blinds have gone up. We're looking at 25,000, 50,000 with a running ante of 5,000.
And they're playing seven-handed, so it looks like, let's see.
Six-handed now.
Oh, six-handed, so it's 30,000, 80, 105,000 around. So, yeah, it looks like, let's see, Davide and Ukela here both can only afford about 5 rounds of play, so we'll be seeing them pretty much only moving all in or folding at this point.
Fintan small blinds, Sebastian big blinds. Davide is first to speak.
Inevitably happens, the tournament progresses and the blinds go up, the pressure is put on those small stacks. But as we mentioned a few minutes ago, Vanessa, Jason Mercier has proved that you can go from a short stack to a huge stack in just one hand.
Oh, that's the cool thing about these tournaments, you know, I mean, even the big stacks are only about double the small stacks, you know, so one hand can change everything at the final table. That's why it's so important in No Limit Hold'em that you consider every decision very, very carefully, because one bad decision can mean the whole thing.
Folded to the button. It's Daniele Mazzia. The Italian has never really been able to get going at this final table.
Daniele raise.
He's making a button raise. Got Fintan Gavin to pass the small blind. Got to get past Sebastian Ruthenberg in the big blind. Sebastian, another World Series winner from this summer, winning the 7-card stud high-low event.
Raises to 135,000.
See, the thing about that is that with that size raise, it's going to create a pot of about, if he gets a call, of about 270, and he'll only have about 400,000 behind. So it's really difficult with a short stack like that to play pots post-flop. That's why you really just pretty much, you know, when you can only afford 5, 6, 7 rounds of play, you really, in my opinion, you should just move all in or fold.
And of course, Ruthenberg could make a speculative call here, and if he connects with the flop or suspects that Mazzia doesn't connect with the flop, push all in.
Right, especially, you know, when the money moves up, each jump here is pretty significant. I guess, what, 6th to 5th is a difference of 70,000 euros. That's huge. That's like, what, 110,000 US dollars, and big money. So you can put the pressure right back on them. That's what you see a lot of the big stacks doing.
And Ruthenberg has proved over the course of the last couple of levels that he can play a big stack very well. Of course, we last saw him on the European Poker Tour in Dortmund in Season 3 when he came 3rd.
He pushed all in.
So he's doing it pre-flop, putting the pressure back on Mazzia.
Mazzia doesn't look too happy about that. Generally, if players had the goods, but we'd know by now. He's doing the math.
He's thinking, do I want to gamble with these 2 cards? He's clearly raised on the button with something that is worthy of a raise, but maybe you don't want to play your entire tournament with.
That's why the all-in weapon is so important in No Limit Hold'em. You can put the pressure on your opponent. See if the button had just moved all in rather than raising, the big blind would have been far more likely to muck rather than call the all-in. It's so hard to call that all-in. I would venture to guess he's going to fold here. Are we allowed to guess that?
Of course we're allowed to guess that. And you'll probably guess right. Most of the time when I guess, I'm wrong.
Well, now that you said that, I think you jinxed me. Yeah, that looks like he's made random. And
the cards have been marked. So Ruthenberg's re-raise gets through. He takes it down. And Mattia lost about a sixth of his stack in that hand.
Do we keep playing for like multiple levels or no? Or does it keeps going on? There's no cap level where it stops? Just wondering.
Well, during the break, we caught up with Fintan Gavin. Cara had a word.
I played tournaments in a few different places, you know, Ireland and England, Ireland especially, States a little bit, but this is my first EPT. I always followed it, you know, on TV and that, and had a few friends that played it, you know. A friend of mine, Dave O'Callaghan, actually came second here in season 1, you know. So, but since then the Irish really haven't had any success, and there hasn't been many Irish here. I was surprised this season here, I'm really surprised, because it's absolutely top class tournament. It's by far the best tournament I've played.
And Fintan says we will see him again on the European Poker Tour.
Daniele moves all in.
Who knows, he could take down this event still. Daniele Mattia, this time he's not messing about. No small raise, all in.
now it's going to take the goods for a big stack to mess with him.
And big blind pass.
No one has a
Daniele
hand.
wins.
And he needs those blinds and antes right now.
Yeah, he's probably kicking himself for the raise before. I think he probably knew that he should have just pushed or folded.
Any questions you have for Vanessa, you can email nuts@eptlive.com. We welcome your questions and comments. Nuts@eptlive.com. Vanessa's going to be here for a while before she gets something to eat before playing in that W Coupe event. And of course, we're counting down to the main event of the W Coupe. 21st of September, that one begins.
Yeah, but there's actually some real great prelims like today, you know, in addition to the 25K, which is a pretty big buy-in for anyone. There's the $1,000 buy-in, $3 million guarantee, which should be a huge, awesome tournament. So if you're listening, sign up if you can afford it. It should be a great tournament. Structures have been really good in the W Coupes as well. That's why you've seen so many of the pros get so deep.
It's Davide Katai who's all in now.
All right, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm allowed to root, right? Yeah.
Of course.
So, ace, king of spades for Davide, and Daniele has pocket sevens. We count the chips before the
Daniele Mattia is...
Good old-fashioned coin flip.
Yeah. I think, are they going to confirm? They're going to count the chips. By my calculations, it's Davide who is at risk here. I believe that Katai is the player who's all in.
Ace King versus sevens.
Ace
Pocket
King
sevens, Ace King.
against pocket sevens. How many times have we seen this hand played out on a poker table on TV? And it's never easy when you're one of the two players. Hoping that those sevens hold up.
So, all-in player is
rooting,
with
pulling
ace
for that ace or that king.
King of spades. Daniele has a pair of sevens. Here's the block.
Matches in front with the sevens. Davide needs to improve. He's at risk.
Flop comes. Jack, jack, deuce. Sevens are in the leads. Davide needs an ace or a king.
Not a bad flop for Davide. If we get a card higher than 7 on the turn, that could pair to give him a better 2-pair.
Is an ace.
He's hit his ace.
Now Davide, aces and jacks.
Well, it was a card higher than a 7 and the ideal card for him.
So that means he's about 96% favorite here.
And 7 needed on the river. He doesn't hit it. So Davide doubles up and Mattia is going to be left with virtually nothing. He must be happy with that result.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy for him.
Average, I'm going to say average chips right now, 1,013,000 to be precise. We now have 4 players who have more than 1 million. This guy's one of them. Davide Katai, about 1.1 million. The chip leader is still Sebastian Ruthenberg with 1.8 million. And Mattia's got about 100,000 left.
Yeah, it looks like we'll be seeing Mattia moving on.